Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Civic Education Minds. I'm Teacher K. Today I want to look at how you can conclude your essay. Now someone requested that I talk about how you can conclude an essay. So this is what I want us to do today. Now there are several ways in which you can conclude your essay. So here we are going to look at 3 different approaches that you can take in how you can conclude your essay, and each of these 3 I have given examples. So the first one is summarization and restatement of the essay. You can take the approach of call to action or reflection, and the last one is provide a thought-provoking quote or a question. So we're going to look at the 3 of them, and we're going to give examples of how you can go about writing these types of conclusions. Before we do that, I want us to look at an ECZ exam question that came in section C of 2021. The question was, describe the legal system in Zambia. The second part said, critically analyze the sources of law in Zambia. So the first part was carrying 4 marks and the second part was carrying 16 marks. Total 20 marks. So what would be the conclusion for this type of an essay? So we can give it a moment and think about how we can conclude such an essay. I would conclude it in this way. In conclusion, the legal system in Zambia is an important part of the country's governance and society. It draws from various sources including the constitution, statutory law, customary law, and international law. These sources work together to shape the legal landscape of Zambia, reflecting its history, culture, and global engagements. As future leaders and responsible citizens, gaining knowledge about our legal system is a valuable step towards ensuring justice, equity, and a better future for our nation. So that is one way of concluding. So let's look at how you can conclude an essay in the 3 different ways that we earlier talked about. Now, the 3 examples that I talked about were given based on the characteristics of good governance. So if a question comes that is asking you to talk about the characteristics of good governance, how would you give your conclusion in the 3 different ways that we have talked about? So let's look at the 3 different ways of concluding. So the first one, summarization and restatement of your essay. Now here you are going to summarize the main points that you have in your essay and restate your essay in a slightly different way. So our first example is saying, in conclusion, the characteristics of good governance, including transparency, accountability, participation, and the rule of law, are essential for fostering stability and development in any society. As nations strive to build a brighter future, it is imperative that these principles remain at the forefront of their governance frameworks, ensuring a just and prosperous society for all. So this is you now summarizing the points that you had talked about in your essay. The second way in which you can talk about your essay conclusion is you give a call to action or a reflection. So you can end your essay by urging the reader to take action or encourage them to reflect on the topic's broader implications. This essay that you are talking about, what is the implication if they were to adhere to what it talks about? So our example 2 says, as we conclude our essay of good governance, we must recognize that it's not only a concept, in brackets term, for policymakers and leaders, but also a shared responsibility. It calls on each of us to engage in informed citizenship, hold our leaders accountable, and actively participate in the democratic process. By doing so, we contribute to the creation of a society where good governance thrives. So that is a conclusion when you give a call to action or reflection. So that is the second way in which you can conclude. And the last one that we're going to talk about is providing a thought-provoking quote or question. Now, ending with a relevant quote or a thought-provoking question can leave a lasting impression on the reader. So here is the third example. In the words of Mahatma Gandhi, you must be the change you want to see in the world. So as we contemplate the characteristics of good governance, let us ask ourselves, are we willing to be that change? Are we ready to demand and uphold these principles in our own lives and in our societies? The answer to these questions will shape not only our future, but also the future of good governance itself. If you want, you can even add some more. But these are the 3 ways in which you can conclude your essay. Now, I said I was going to talk about the most commonly used method and the one I recommend that you use the most. So my recommendation would be you use the first one, which is summarization and restatement of your essay. This is the most common and the one that most of the examiners are going to be familiar with. So I'm not asking that you are going to master exactly what we have said here. You can use your own words. You can explore different ways of how you can conclude your essay. You are not restricted to this. So it's just a matter of doing a bit more research and you'll get around how you can conclude your essay. Thank you for being with me. I will see you next time.